Tarnowski from Poland third, but I don't think he's in today.
So there's the specs for the C1 boats, as we've been discussing. And let's have a look at that start list in a bit more detail. Manuel Campos, Ivan, in 142. Davydov from Ukraine, 141. Borgiel from Poland, 145. Diego Romero of Spain in 147. ZUCHORA from Poland in 148. Japan have got KOKAJI. Roberto Palacios of Argentina in 152. Sebestyen Simon from Hungary in 151. Gergely Nagy, I think they're calling him Gary Nagy now. Actually, Gergely Nagy now paddling in the colours of Australia at 154. Italy and France have Edoardo CALO and Thomas DUNILAC as they get called down to the starters line. Conditions are actually lightening. If anything, it looks like the cloud is slowly but surely drifting off. Romero on the right-hand side of the picture there.
So he was third at the Europeans. Europeans pretty much taken by the Poles, Borgiel and ZUCHORA.
That's ZUCHORA in the center of that picture, looking very relaxed, joking with his competitors.
So first and second went to Poland at the Europeans. Romero third. Last year's Worlds, Romero came out on top, but perhaps not done quite as much training this year, who knows. We've got Egypt there in the middle with Mohamed Ibrahim. He's been here all week as part of the talent identification.
Down to the line they come. And they're underway.
Borgiel away well, the backwards white hat. There's already collisions down there. There's 1, 2, 3 boats involved in that one. Japan in the yellow, top of your shot, 141, Davydov. But down at the bottom, it's
Campos looking very strong off the start line as well. KOKAJI of Japan putting in a good start.
Tarnowschi from Moldova in that red shirt. So Tarnowschi taking it to them here. The yellow shirt
YANCHUK
of Nagy right next to him.
Dmytro YANCHUK of Ukraine, probably fired up by Ukrainian woman picking up 2 medals in the race, which has just been completed. And Campos in the background there.
Just trying to work out who that second red shirt is at the top. Get a boat number for you. 155 is Tarnowschi. And this is compatriot 146.
It's Oleg Tarnovschi.
Oh, that makes it easy. They're both called Tarnowschi.
So Oleg's got the headband on. Sergei's got the backhood cap on.
So those three comfortably away and clear. Romero nowhere near this one. Borgiel nowhere near this one. ZUCHORA nowhere near. So we're very much a display of dominance from two that we haven't seen before. The Tarnowschi brothers are here to make an impact.
And Dmytro Yanchuk of the Ukraine making up the last of that breakaway trio. Not what you predicted at all, Ivan.
No, I had that. Actually, no, not at all. But I had that as the Australian there with the yellow shirt, and I think I'm wrong there, aren't I?
I'm pretty sure that's Ukraine.
Yep.
Wide around that top turn can, and that's kind of opening the door for the chasers who've been tighter around
It is,
the
and
boys.
Romero's back in the game.
Oh, he's zoomed in on that gap.
Two Japanese directional control issues there for one of them in the yellow. And Romero suddenly is back in the game.
For a moment, you saw the back view of Roberto Palacios racing in the colors of Argentina.
Tarnowski, Janchuk. Romero just at the back of that group now.
And that's Borgiel in the Polish colors.
So some of the big names getting back in contention. 4 left-handers to the right of the right-hander. The Moldovans all over this at the moment, though. Ukraine in the yellow. Campos, it is not Romero. So Manuel Campos, stronger of the 2 Spaniards. Dominance in Spain, flip-flops back and forward between these guys. They have a set group of guys up there. One year one of them's good, another year another's good.
This chasing pair have got a tricky job there. They're in the messy
Campos.
water.
That's going to be Zuchora and the blue shirt, potentially Calo of Italy.
So 5 clear at the front at the early stages of the C1 men's short race. And the 2 Moldovans pretty sensationally and unexpectedly going to the front early on. Now being reeled in by some of the established big guns who are possibly passing on a message. Gents, know your place.
Campos ducks round the inside to get on the inside of the turn. He knows somebody is going to go wide. We saw him at the bottom turn, and I think Campos is going to come out of this at least second, if not higher, after this turn. He's already made his way up to third. 2 Moldovans away and clear. Frenchman Dunilac there with Romero. Nowhere near the front for Romero this year. Campos instead, he's your man, and he's third at the moment. So
time.
Moldova, Spain, Ukraine, Poland 2.
The Moldovans have both taken out beautifully, very quickly onto the pontoon.
Campos runs well, though. I think we'll see him overhaul maybe one of the Moldovans on the run. Here he comes, left of shot.
Oleg
shouting,
moving out
shouting for the room. He's overtaking one.
He's overtaking them both. What a move from Manuel Campos.
They don't know what to do with him. He's going to run long as well because he's got experience.
Took out third, put in first. And a great put in as well.
Poles both there now. Ukrainian all over the shop, still back at the portage. And the Moldovans starting to look a little more ordinary. Now they're in the rougher water. He's trying to come up this side of Campos.
Tickle on the tail of Manuel Campos.
Game over for Ukraine. He's been at the portage for a while now. Sebestyen Simon back there as well. Dunilac in the fancy colours of France. That's
back at the front, and the Tarnowskis are now muscling their way.
They have muscled their way through, but I think Romero knows he's got them on the portage. Not Romero, Campos.
Campos was spectacular on that last run.
Yeah, he's good at his running.
From about 5 boat lengths back to put in first. Solid. Serghei Tarnovschi. He's got Zuchora on his left. He's got Oleg on his right.
And
Manuel Campos.
Borgiel this side. Campos looking nicely set. Wonder if he'll duck round the back again for this turn. He knows that some of those others struggle. Romero making his way back there. 398 on his back.
Thomas DUNILAC looks like he would like to hunt his way back onto that. I wonder if he can bridge up there.
I think that's a bigger gap back to him. I think it's Romero's the next one to get in touch. That's Romero on his own behind that lead 5. It's going to get tight at the front. There's contact.
Oh, there's a swimmer.
We've got ourselves a swimmer. That's one of the Moldovans.
It's Oleg.
So he's out.
Oleg Tarnovschi is out. And he's out in the middle of the lake. That's game over for him. He's going to have to swim that C1 to the side. So that
and
just
who's
leaves...
back? Romero is back in contention. He's tapped the back of the Polish boat. Polish boat now out of contention. So he's got to get round that next buoy, and that's a long little journey for him. Romero back in the top 4. It's the white cap of Borgiel currently leading. So Spain. How did Romero get back from where he was earlier on?
This race has been turned on its
The
head.
Moldovans struggling for their steering. Romero's not going to enjoy that little detour. So Spain.
Moldova, Poland.
Amazing that Romero's back in. I think Moldova's going to have it handed to him on the portage by the experienced Spaniards and the pole. I think he's going to come up last in the group out of the next portage. Through goes Romero, last year's world champion. We'd written him off in commentary, and that's always a good sign for any paddler. To be written off by us means absolutely nothing.
Tarnovsky's determined to stay with him. Oh, and there's a bit of coming together. Romero's moved right. Tarnovsky's had to stop.
Campos goes straight through, and it's the 2 Spaniards ahead on their own.
Oh, bumper cars.
This has been pretty eventful. It's looking good.
The loser there was Serghei Tarnovschi, who was...
Borgiel, the Tarnovskis have the flat water speed. They just don't have the skill set for these tight laps. And the 2 Spaniards are in front. They're the quickest over the land anyway. And I did not see this coming from Diego Romero.
Serghei Tarnovschi still in this.
He's still in it, but if I were racing for Poland at the moment, I would feel very vulnerable coming into this final turn with Tarnovschi there.
Borgiel at the back. Into the turn they go.
It's all well organised so far, but here it goes wrong.
Tarnovschi
is just, he's a liability.
He just doesn't have the turn. Almost tipped the Spaniard's tail. And he's taken the pole out wide with him as well. You can see the pole toiling to try and work around him.
You can see it coming. Tarnovschi just hasn't quite got the skill set yet for these. The Spaniards have, and they're going to come in together. I'm so hoping Romero wins this now after where he's come from.
Romero,
Campos
a little slip
away.
from Romero. So that gives Campos the lead. Campos and Romero side by side.
The pole is all over the place. His boat got away from him. It's the 2 poles running together. Spain versus Spain.
Romero
That is a great
chasing
shot.
down Campos. This put-in could be key.
It's Campos away first. Romero second.
Romero quickly up alongside him. It's the 2 of them now.
I would think he'd want to go straight past if he can. And he is going to do that.
Borgiel's off the back. And I'm afraid Serghei Tarnovschi's portage has left him flailing hopelessly in the background. raw power on flat water, which took our breath away in the beginning, and it's all just conspired to work against him. Spain versus Spain. Poland chasing for third.
France and Ukraine still in the game, but not in for a shout of a medal. And it's going to be Romero after everything he's been through.
You going Romero over Campos?
Yeah, he's faster. He won last year. I remember him being pretty impressive last year. But this is maybe even more impressive. I'd written him off totally. He was nowhere near the front, was he? And now he's come through, helped partially by a degree of incompetence in the groups in front of him.
I think this is wide open.
The pole's just behind, but it's too far behind to have an impact on gold and silver.
Coming up to the top turn, and then I think it's going to be a bolt down to the finish.
I think Romero's just got the flat line speed over Campos.
Campos is going to be on the outside on this turn. Into the first of those turn cans they go. This leaves Romero holding the reins, I got to say. It's clearly the two Spaniards who are going to be scrapping it out for gold in our C1 men's short course.
Borgiel and ZUCHORA just behind them. But it's going to be Spain 1-2. Poland 3-4.
Almost taking a little bit of the pace off as they make that final turn, because this is going to come down to who has that explosive burst. Now they're in the home straight. Diego Romero opens the taps. Manuel Campos drops back half a boat length, but is managing to stay with him. Diego Romero's got a sniff of gold, and he's not going to want to let it go.
I can't believe he's going to win this. Look to his right. Campos tries to come up on his right. Romero moves across. If he can keep his wave in front of Campos, it's going to be good for him. But they're locked in battle. I don't know. It's very hard to tell who's winning there. It could be. It is Campos.
Campos has gone to the front. The stroke rate was suddenly 10% higher than Romero. Remember, he's a slightly lighter man. They're going into a slight wind. Campos has now pulled ahead of Diego Romero in the vital stages of this. They're still a good 200 meters away from the line. Can Diego Romero dig deep and find a little turbo to pull himself back into contention? Campos leads Romero by half a boat length. Spain. And the wily Manuel Campos is going to pull this off. Matching, he's slightly faster in stroke rate. And he's still maintaining a 3/4 boat length lead over Diego Romero as they come to within 50 meters of the line.
Romero just in danger of slipping over that backwash. It's getting dangerously close to falling behind. And once he's fallen behind, it's game over.
A seesaw
Here's
showdown.
The finish. It is going to be Campos.
Manuel Campos is going to make it a Spain 1-2 with Diego Romero half a boat length behind him.
Hats off to Romero. I don't know how he did that from where he was. To come up to second and even challenge for first was just an amazing
Mateusz
result.
Borgiel.
Borgiel ahead of ZUCHORA. And ZUCHORA only just ahead
Of a fast-finishing Sebestyen Simon.
from Hungary. Hungary outside the medals on this one.
Oh, what a turnaround.
Then it's the Moldovan.
Followed by Issei Takenaka. No,
No,
correction on that.
that's Davydov from Ukraine.
Thomas DUNILAC of France.
And Yanchuk from Ukraine across the line, so strong in that early stages, but it wasn't the early stages that counted.
Yeah.
As Diego Romero, I'm sure, will be quick to tell us. The Italian over the line, CALO. Nagy.
George Nagy.
Okay.
Good.
So we get a little replay coming up on screen now.
Spain versus Spain in an arm wrestle.
Here we go on that top turn. This is the capsize from the Moldovan. There it is. Just, you got the front of his boat caught on his brother's boat. Can you believe that?
Yep.
And that was just enough to take him in. Desperately unlucky for him there. It was all closing in. He had space. He just had an overlap on his brother. An overlap on a turn like that is an absolute nightmare anyway. And in a C1, it must be even worse. And that was him. Egypt, one of the countries that's been on the development program all week. Great to see him here. Good to see him finish. That's Mohamed Ibrahim.
Mohamed Gamal. Paddling powerfully. There's a lot of talent wrapped up in Mohamed Gamal there. Trust the powers that be are going to make sure that the opportunities keep presenting themselves for paddlers like Mohamed Gamal.
I tell you what, I watched him training in the week, and if it was a running race, he would have won it hands down. That man can run.
Who was third? Was it ZUCHORA? You said Borgiel, but the system says ZUCHORA.
It was Borgiel.
I don't. So as we watch Egypt coming in, about 100 meters to go. We'll get confirmation of the results to you at some point. In the background, we see the women warming up for
Just
what
to
is
whet
going to
your
be
appetite.
a huge race, this one. So all the way to the finish. Athlete all the way from Egypt.
There are nodes of incredibly hard work going on in various points around Africa, identifying and creating opportunities for young men and women who are serious athletes to get involved in canoeing and kayaking. Mohamed Gamal comes down to the finish to claim a result for Egypt at the Worlds. That, in the greater context, is a big result. Roberto Palacios claiming the result for Argentina. And that pretty much clears the course, I think, Ivan.
And we move on.
As we can take a deep breath and then... Whew.
To the women's K1. Stacked lineup. So Stefan's trying to line up an interview.
Also, having a chat to the pole that...
Trying to attract the attention of a Spaniard engaged in conversation is never going to be easy.
Okay.
But Stefan's got everyone lined up on the podium for an interview, and it'd be great to hear what these athletes say. I would love to hear from Diego Romero personally. We'll try and hand over to Stefan at the podium with the three.
Once again, three happy medalists. Congratulations, wonderful done. And the gold medalist Manuel Campos, another gold for you. Congrats.
Muchas gracias, estoy muy contento con esta medalla de oro, una nueva medalla que ya es la octava y gano por primera vez esta modalidad del maratón que es la short race.
And as always, he's very happy, and I think you said it was the 8th medal or something like that. My Spanish is not that good, but you did a wonderful race.
Sí, es mi octava medalla, fue una carrera soñada además para España, que yo y mi compañero Diego Romero fuimos primero y segundo y estamos muy contentos y preparados ya para la siguiente.
Yes, you worked really well together during the final laps. It was amazing to see.
Sí, la verdad es que fue una regata que me planteé después de la salida, viendo cómo salían los moldavos, ir de menos a más, y me salió bien. El primer porteo, pues ya conseguí salir del porteo a 2 barcos de ellos, y hacia boca, pues apreté un poquillo, ellos tuvieron un pequeño choque y enganché. Después llegué al grupo y me tiré ya a marcar el grupo para llegar al último porteo con un poco de ventaja, y después ya con mi compañero Manuel Antonio pues nos escapamos y a disputar la medalla los dos.
Congratulations, wonderful down. And the bronze medal goes to Poland. Here's ZUCHORA.
Yes, thank you. This is very hard race. I'm very tired, and now I see two in my partner Mateusz BORGIEL. I beat Mateusz, and this is a very good athlete. And congrats for he, and thank you.
You have had a wonderful season, medals both in the Europeans and in the Worlds, and will it be more this weekend?
Tak, jest naprawdę dzisiaj ciężki dzień, udany. Mam nadzieję, że w sobotę i w niedzielę uda się powtórzyć i poprawić rezultaty.
Once again, put your hands together for Diego, Manuel, and Mateusz. Congrats.
Well, gladiators that will meet again in a C1 arena somewhere else in the world on a regular basis to be able to renew hostilities, banking memories of what happened here.
Results
so, quick
coming
summary
up.
of the results.
Campos from Romero, from ZUCHORA, from Borgiel, both from Poland. Sebestyen Simon, 5th place, just behind Borgiel, then Tarnowski, the only remaining Moldovan in the race after his brother swam. Davydov from Ukraine, Dunilac from France in 8th place. 9th, Yanchuk from Ukraine, Edoardo CALO from Italy in 10th, Gergely Nagy from Australia in 11th, Takenaka from Japan, followed by his compatriot KOKAJI, Palacios from Argentina. Mohamed Ibrahim disqualified. I would suspect that's missing a buoy. We didn't see it on screen, so apologies for not giving you the information on that. And then confirmation that Oleg Tarnowski didn't finish. That was due to the swim we had